each and every game. So no, it's definitely something I love about the game is just that constant self-improvement that you have for yourself.
You make plays on third downs. A lot of them turn into first downs. How much pride do you take in being available and reliable in those types of situations?
Just trying to be a good teammate at the end of the day, know what I'm supposed to do, being where I'm supposed to be, getting open so, Gino can, have somewhere to throw the ball on third down. That makes all of us, everybody knows where they're supposed to go, how they're supposed to get there. I always just try to make sure I do my part, whether that's first, second, or third down to be able to be available for Gino to throw the ball to.
So not only are you a rookie trying to learn the NFL game, but then all of a sudden you have a play caller change. How does that affect you and what you're trying to do in your learning curve?
Yeah, no, I don't know if it really, since it's mid-season, we're kind of running the same offense, just, different mix-ups of plays and different ways of calling those plays. So, you're kind of running the same stuff at the end of the day, just calling it in different scenarios, stuff like that. So, nothing major right now. They obviously couldn't change the whole offense, mid-season on us. So it really doesn't, affect the way I'm going out there and I'm learning every day.
Did it feel like there might have been a little bit of a different game flow as far as the way the game was called last week?
Obviously a different person playing calls.
Yeah.
So obviously there's going to be some differences. But
What would you say is one of the things that you've taken away from the veterans that you've been able to apply to your own game, a piece of advice or whatnot, or just something that maybe you caught on the field watching them do that you've picked up?
Yeah, 1% better each and every day. It doesn't matter the circumstance, what's going on. You not only have to get better for yourself, but that 1% better each and every day is helping your teammates to get better, and that's bringing them along. So really just, that's something I pride myself, 1% better every day, spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. So.
Just got to kind of just do my job and get open. That's my job is to get open at the end of the day. So just got to keep working on my craft throughout the week.
Second part of that question, obviously last year you had the first game against the Broncos where you kind of exploded against them, and then the next time they put Patrick Surtain on you, kind of shouted you the whole game. What is it about Patrick that makes him such a good corner, and how much are you looking forward to that challenge?
Yeah, I'm excited. He's a great player, obviously. Big, strong, fast, athletic. We'll see. I'm excited for the matchup.
You ever made a better catch than you made on Sunday?
I don't know. I have no clue. It was pretty cool, though. Yeah.
When we talked to you after the game, you hadn't seen it yet. Obviously, you have now. There's been a lot of memes, a lot of stuff like that. What is it like to see that kind of reaction?
Oh, it's funny because, like I said, during after the game, I didn't really know. I was I just knew I caught it, and then seeing it afterwards, it was kind of cool being it was actually pretty good. So.
Were you able to separate oh, that was me, or could you enjoy it as a fan, or was it I did that? How do you kind of process it?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know. It's really hard to say.
Yeah.
So I feel like it was kind of no big deal. I just wanted to make the catch, and that was about it.
And you're still trying to win games, but there's also personal growth as well. Even the playoffs are out of the picture. What you've already done so much in your short career, but what are you looking to improve still as a player?
I think just every week's just another challenge to get better at preparation and just get better during the game, competing against all these guys that we're going against. I think it's really just about just perfecting your craft.
Talk about being the Walter Payton Man of the Year award nominee for the Raiders once again.
Yeah, it's a blessing and an honor for sure. A lot of work, put into it. There's a lot of people around me that, made that possible. Obviously starting with my foundation. Bert plays a big part in that. Obviously, my wife Rachel, she's a huge piece of that. Putting everything together, bringing the vision to life and helping as many people as we can. So it's off to a great start, and obviously being nominated by the team is a big honor.
As somebody who's been a representative for the Raiders for this award before, just the importance of that award and Walter Payton's legacy on the NFL.
Yeah, everyone knows Walter Payton, how great of a football player he was, but what he was as a human being is shines even brighter. He was one of a kind. I've gotten obviously to be around his family as well the last few years, doing all the events and stuff like that at the Super Bowl. And it's been incredible, just learning more and more about him. He's, one of the greatest players and people to ever be in this league. So, being nominated is special to say the least.
Who or what in your life inspired you to give back the way you do?
Honestly, there's a lot of people I can, I could point towards. Obviously friends and family have been a part of that. But it's just been something that, since I was young, I always wanted to, be able to help others and give back. I live by this, and my third year in the league, I had Gus Bradley as my defensive coordinator, and he always had his one-liners and quotes and things like that. But one that stuck with me the most is, you give with no intent to receive, it's always going to come back twofold, and I live my life, by that. I truly believe in that, and that's just the way. I just feel like if you live that way and you're willing to give to others without expecting something back, good things are going to happen for you. Good karma is going to come your way, and I truly believe in that. So, that quote definitely stuck with me. And there's a lot of people I could, point to and credit for helping shape the person I am today. But that quote is definitely the one that sticks out.
Your wife posted the cutest videos of you and your daughter at the last event with the turkeys. What do you hope she learns from these events, being there with you?
Tyrese, too. Look at him. Sorry, what was your question again?
What do you hope your daughter takes away from being at these events with you?
Yeah, she's definitely starting to understand, kind of what's going on. She's 3 now, and she's learning and growing and evolving every day. So I want to show her, the way and be a great dad to her. And show her the ropes. So, Rachel does an incredible job, being a mother and being a dad. It's my first child, so I take a lot of pride in it, and I want to show her the way and how you treat people and how you give back, and we can, obviously going to continue doing that.
You've had so many different initiatives, animals, people, different types of things. Is there one that you're most particularly proud of along the way?
They all are special in their own way. There's not one that outweighs the other, but the substance abuse part is something this next calendar year we're gonna dive even more into and get back even more. Obviously directly related to me. I'm going on 6 years being sober, and I wouldn't be in this position if I never did get sober. So that's something that we're gonna continue building and take it to another step. But yeah, we're really excited about that, and obviously help a lot of teens and kids that are going through a tough situation with substance abuse, and get them the help they need, and also be a light for them in any way I can.
You talked about how that Gus Bradley quote really stuck with you, just in terms of your career so far. Is there a player around the league or a teammate that you've had that you've looked up to, that you've thought to yourself, this is kind of what I want to be as an example for not just the team, but for the community at home?
There's so many different guys that I've, had the opportunity and the blessing to, be around and learn from. And, it's honestly, I've talked about this before publicly, but, when I first got in the league, I always wanted to, I wanted to reach out to the guys and get in contact with the other best rushers in the league, because I wanted to be like them. You know what I mean? I was like, what can I do? What can I learn from them? And how could I get to their level? And, there's a bunch of guys that I reach out to and talk to. But honestly, like, just looking, there's so many guys. From Cam Hayward to Von Miller to, the list goes on and on. But there's just a lot of guys. J.J. Watt was one of the guys as well, and now you see what he's doing on TV and helping people out in a lot of different ways. So there's a lot of people that I look up to and that have helped me along the way. For me, I've always wanted to just be a sponge of information and learn and take from the greats. And if you want to be like the greats, you got to do what the greats do. And I've constantly had that mindset, and I still do to this day. I'm constantly learning and figuring out how to become the best version of myself.
I know you've always been about incremental improvement, 1% better, and taking small steps. But if you look back to when you were drafted to this point now where you are, what would you say has been the most pivotal part of this journey for you?
I would say getting sober is number one, 100%. I wouldn't be here without that. So, yeah, that if I didn't get sober, none of this would be possible. There's no doubt in my mind. That was, the beginning of everything. I was still, I had a good rookie year and things like that, but I was not the person and the player I wanted to be, just overall in general. So once I got into rehab and got into the, sober living and things like that, really changed my perspective on a lot of things. And it's almost 6 years later, and we're looking back, and there's a lot of good things going on. But that's the thing for me. I don't try to look back too much. I don't try to look at the accomplishments and what we've done. I'm always focused on what I can do next and what I can do now. And that's helped me get to where I'm at right now, and it's going to continue to help me get better, bigger and better.
You said with the foundation, like you want to try to look at the substance abuse recovery issues next and to try to really delve into that. Like, what's one thing that you can do with your voice as a player to try to begin that journey for someone else?
Yeah, honestly, it's one of the most difficult things because a lot of people are scared to have that conversation. I was prime example of that. I didn't want to admit I had a problem or admit that I was out of control and doing all those things, but the first step is admitting you got a problem, and that truly comes from within. Nobody can make you do it. Nobody can make you want to get into rehab. If you don't want to go to rehab, I promise you, there'll be ways you do everything in the world to try not to go. But honestly, it was the best thing for me. So a few of the things we're gonna do is so we already have started this and put in motion, but starting grants and having scholarships for kids to get into rehabs and sober livings and things like that. And there's a lot of other things as well. But honestly, it's just having that dialogue and giving somebody and giving people a safe space to talk about their problems. Because I know when I went to rehab, like I thought I was the only person in the world that had these problems, and I thought it was I was at the lowest of low. But then you get in there and you start talking to everybody else. You're like, oh wow, like I'm not as messed up as I thought I was, and you just realize like we're all human beings at the end of the day, and there's millions of people that go through what I've gone through, and a lot of people around me have gone through. So it's honestly that's what we're going to focus on, and we're going to continue building that. So we're definitely excited about it.
A very unrelated note, real quick. I know you've dabbled in music. Pat McAfee's dropping his first album.
Pat McAfee is?
You have any
I did not
thoughts
know
about
that.
him jumping into the music space?
That's crazy. What kind of music is he making?
I mean, it sounds like they're turning some of his like freestyle, just like rants into some beats. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know, but everything Pat does, he turns into gold. So I believe in him. No matter what he does, he's the man.